In the heart of northern Morocco is a magical forest, and the creatures that live here would not be out of place in a fairy tale. For the Barbary macaques are deeply embedded in the history and mythologies of Morocco. But these forests also support a large diversity of stunning species. And the different habitats of Ifrane National Park are also home to smaller creatures that are often overlooked. And in the distant mountains is the source of a life-giving river that flows a long way. So come along as we take a journey through one of the most beautiful and unique regions of Morocco. The Muezzin's call to prayer is a wake-up call not just for the humans, but also for the other creatures that live in the town of Azrou. Azrou means big rock in the Berber Tamazight language, and beyond this ancient settlement is a lost world where fragments of isolated cedar and oak forests have survived the ravages of time. These fine leaves belong to the Atlas cedar, a unique species that is only found in the Atlas mountain ranges of Morocco and Algeria. The hardy branches of this tree are home to a very special mammal that has a stronghold in these forests. Barbary macaques have found shelter in these trees for millions of years. This is a gentle place to look after their delicate babies. The mother carefully inspects her baby as she looks for lice and other parasites on the body, even pulling the skin if it is necessary to get to those hard-to-reach places. The macaques share this place with species that may seem out of place in Africa, such as great tits, northern ravens, Eurasian nuthatches, and even common blackbirds. Species that are common in Europe and parts of Asia have persisted in these outposts in North Africa. Forests with towering trees and the air so pure that they are encrusted in mosses and lichens. To understand the evolution of the macaques, we need to have a global overview, and we need to step back in time. Our Earth in present times is a very different world. If we start to turn the cogs of time back, we can see that sea levels were much lower, and around 7.5 million years ago, there were distinct land bridges connecting Europe and Africa. This is when the first Barbary macaques evolved, and the land that connected Africa and Europe allowed them to travel to much northern landscapes. Then the ancestor of the Asian macaques separated out to form their own lineage. But during the Ice Age, Europe became much colder, and the macaques either died out or migrated back south. Their thick golden fur is an evolutionary adaptation to deal with the extreme cold. For in winter, parts of Ifrane National Park do get very cold, and snow is a very real possibility. Today, the Barbary macaque is the only macaque found outside of Asia. And if we draw an imaginary line below the Sahara, then the Barbary macaques are the only primates other than humans found in Africa above this line. It is estimated that there are now less than 10,000 Barbary macaques living in the wild, and the forests of Ifrane National Park support around 25% of this population. Young babies like this one are at serious risk of being taken away to support the illegal pet trade. Large-scale habitat loss is also another serious reason for their declining numbers. The mother will do everything to protect her baby. Grooming is a serious business in the macaque society. There is a clear hierarchy in the grooming order, and she is quick to scold other relatives if they try to step in before her. Each troop of Barbary macaques has a leader. He may be very quiet, but he is always close by. The alpha male sits proudly on a large rock as he observes his subjects. He is keeping a watch to make sure that no strangers intrude onto his domain of the forest. If he spots any disturbances, he makes his way down from the post to get a closer look. As he strides the dusty paths, other macaques are keenly aware that their leader is on the move. Any young strangers make a hasty escape if they are to avoid a fight. And the babies know that they are well protected by their leader. The flaring nostrils and the intense eyes are a clear signal that mischief makers here will not be permitted. There are quite a few species that follow the macaques in the forest. An extremely shy but beautiful bird has been secretly watching the primates. The jay is commonly seen in Europe and parts of Asia, and here in Morocco, it is at its southernmost range. It hops around looking to find any food crumbs that the macaques may have left behind. It can be easy to find food when you know that there are some messy mammals around. Another bird that also hops around on the ground looking for leftovers is the African chaffinch. It looks very similar to the Eurasian chaffinch, but those brilliant fluorescent colors on its back light up the dry forest floor as it moves around. The tall cliffs that border the forest have distant sources of water that eventually find their way down to the dry plains. Rich streams of gushing water sparkle in the bright sunshine. They can be very thin on the ground, but it offers great respite from the afternoon heat and a welcome drink for humans and animals alike. While these animals have plenty of space as they quench their thirst, the fast-moving waters from another water source can be too strong. The Oum Rabia river creeps a long way into northern Morocco as it makes its way towards the Mediterranean Sea. The source of Oum Rabia is a spectacular sight. Hidden away in these dry and hot mountains are secret springs. And the stunning location is a famous site where you can get extremely close to the gushing waters. Waters so strong and so blue that it offers an illusion that you are underwater. The strong currents make it impossible for any creatures to have a secure grip on the watery surfaces. But some creatures, like this grey ragtail, are perfectly adapted for these precarious habitats. Grey wagtails are highly active birds and they hunt for small insects on the slippery rocks. Away from this watery world, there are some mysterious species that live on the hot and dry cliff faces. This may look like a single insect, but in reality, this is a mating pair of praying mantises. A close-up view of the larger female mantis reveals an almost alien-like creature. She is an excellent hunter of smaller insects, and one of her prey items actually include the much smaller male praying mantis. She could easily turn around and eat the head of the male mantis, but suddenly she notices a distraction. A North African rock agama is not far away and it has noticed the insects. They would make a tasty meal, but any movements can be detected by the presence of aerial predators that patrol these skies. Blurring in and out of the skies are raptors that fly at incredible speeds. Amidst all the confusion, the male mantis has made an escape. The female mantis may look for food elsewhere, or she could come back for him. So, the male mantis sways away with the light winds, and then it makes a quick getaway from all the possible dangers. The region of Ifrane National Park represents a very different side of Morocco. Shady mountain groves where you are likely to get stuck in a very different type of traffic jam. Beyond these charming towns are the famous cedar forests of Ifrane National Park. Horse riding amongst the tall and ancient trees is a fantastic experience, but the real draw here are the wild Barbary macaques that allow you to get fairly close to them. Just a couple of hours away from the cedar forest are where we discovered the Oum Rabia springs. The fast-flowing waters here make a shocking contrast against the reddish hues of the surrounding mountainsides. A fantastic place to enjoy the natural landscape and search for some elusive wildlife while enjoying the delicious Moroccan meals.